another PTNZ upload. So yeah, my last upload, you saw that I did a bit of a road trip with it, just a short one over the hill and back. I'd just like to say thanks to all the people who commented. I tried to reply to all the comments on there. It makes the channel worthwhile. It was all positive. Yeah, I don't own a lot of GoPro cameras and that, or any cameras that I could have clipped on the truck elsewhere. I've only got this one. I'm not a big YouTuber, as you know. So, but yeah, I did appreciate it. It was really good to sit and read all that. It was rather hair raising to do what I did. As I said, on that road, if you broke down, you got a real problem. But it did it. So in the closing scene, I think I had it in my other shop, and yeah, I said, you know, it all went good. So I ran it back into my main workshop here, and I went through it, and I see I had a bad oil leak on the left-hand side of the engine and behind the compressor drive. So it was always dirty in there when I washed and cleaned this truck, ready for paint. So I tried to clean it the best I could and just painted dirt as you normally do. So I found out why it was dirty. There was a lot of oil running down the side of the engine, and it made a bit of a mess underneath the truck. So I had time, I got under there and I really cleaned it in behind the compressor, and I started the truck, and I should have filmed it, would have made good footage, but I just, the camera was flat and I just worked away at it. So I had it running and I couldn't see any oil running anywhere, but I had a mirror and a light, and I could see a little gasket slash shim pulsating, and I looked harder, and it was the cam follower cover on the front of the engine. So wow, and then I looked and I realized there was a hole in the cover at the front where there should be a bolt. So I got a piece of aluminium wire and I shoved in the hole, and the hole was clean, so there was no broken bolt. So the next thing was to clean the hole the best I could. We're only talking sort of 25 mil, an inch of clearance in behind the compressor and where this hole is. So I cleaned it all, and I took another bolt out further along the cover to identify the threads and the length, and I found the bolt. And then the fun started to try and get it down in there and get it in. So I managed to get it in. It fell out a couple of times, and then I walked away and come back, and a couple of hours later, and I got half a turn out of it, and it started, and I was away. So I managed to wind it in and do it up. So with a bit of research, I realised you can't just take the cam follow covers off. They are actually set for that engine. So most of you people, or anyone who's done it before, will understand what I'm talking about. I personally haven't done it, and I don't have the tool for setting it either. So, because the cam followers are set and they control the timing for the top of your engine, obviously. So I won't get too much into that. So I've done the bolt up. I've only just run it for a couple of minutes from wash area back into the shop here. So I don't know if I fixed the problem or not, but it's certainly going to help the whole situation. Even if it just weeps, it's going to be a lot better. My next thing I need to do is, I see there's still a little bit of oil on the sump bolts, just the odd wet area. So I'm going to go along and individually take the bolts out and just seal them and put them back in and see if that rectifies that problem. If not, we'll have to drop the sump and put a sump gasket on it. But I mean, we're only talking a little bit. It's not pouring out, and I need to run it more, obviously, to find more problems with it. So my next thing I'm doing, I'll take you for a bit of a walk. I've got in my toolbox here. I have to try and get you off my spanners. My magnetic clip has grabbed all the sockets. I'm not sure what's going to be on this upload. I've sort of got something coming up for the truck, another week or so. I might try and grab the footage. It's going to be a while before I upload in between videos now, because there's not a lot happening for me. Fuel tanks, CNG units. So it doesn't work. I've just been in here. Fuel gauge in the dash has got power. No power in here. So somewhere between the mighty cab and back here, in the zoo of wiring there, it's not working. So I've gone back to my trusty wire diagrams here, which may not be correct for this truck, but it's the best I could find online and printed it out. So I found the fuel gauge inside the truck, and I've got the numbers for there. And then I found the fuel tanks, which I've gone and lost already, here, and I've got the numbers It's actually 1 and 2, so it's the very start of the whole truck. Obviously doesn't go without fuel. And I followed the wiring diagram and I was like, those numbers aren't on the gauge in the diagram for in the dash. So I followed it and I've come to a fuel gauge, or sorry, a fuel switch. Fuel gauge, it's labeled, but it's a switch, and it's got 1 and 2. Now I understand what that does. Obviously you flick it either way and it'll give you fuel level for in each tank. So somewhere in the dash, if I can find wiring number 1 and number 2, I'll be away, because there is a spare switch in there. But whether it's ever worked, I don't know. I could be going down a bit of a rabbit hole here. So I'm just going to keep plugging away. I got a friend I was sitting with the other day and he said to me, he follows me, he goes, you and your wiring, he said, I just couldn't handle it. I said, you just twist them together when they spark and something pops. Well, yeah, you got it wrong. Try again. Pretty simple stuff, this truck. I mean, one of the comments on there was, you know, the guy, he said, I paid big money to come for a ride with you on the type of road you did. They'd rather, and yeah, it was a steep climb, pretty gnarly road. And another comment was, they'd rather have one of these trucks over a brand new DAF, Volvo or whatever. Well, you got to put that into what you got, application of what you're going to be using the truck for. I mean, this is known as my ice cream truck. It's just a hobby truck. You wouldn't want to drive it every day. But one of the reasons why I've chosen this type of truck is it's basic. It's basic wiring, basic mechanical stuff. I personally couldn't, you know, handle a brand new truck. Not that you'd be doing this to a brand new truck, but something which is 20 years old, full of a lot of technology. Yeah, it's not me. Next generation will be fixing those type of things, but this will break down. Well, new ones break down too, but we'll just keep plodding away. And these things I'm doing, it was always on my list of items which needed attention. That they're not affected by inspection or anything like that. They don't say, hey, your fuel gauge must work. They probably do in some places. It's compulsory, but we'll get it going. We'll do something. I'm going to put the camera down, so I don't think you need to watch me pull the dash out for the 50th time. I was actually going to make some fancy brass fittings for this. Oops, drop my spanner. I know you can buy proper dash fixing bolts, if you call it that. So, but overall, I'm pretty happy with the truck. I need to use it a bit, but I got nothing to use it for at the moment. I got a few things in the pipeline coming along that I may use the truck for. I just got to wait and see what happens with that. It's just a bit of an idea I've got at the moment, so we'll see what happens. Right, I'm going to put the camera down and I'll bring you back with what I find. Right, she's a bit noisy. I've got to have the key on to make this work. We've got the gauge going. Yeah, read the wiring diagrams and then it answers your question. There's always been a switch on the dash here. 3-stage, had no idea what it did. Yeah, leave it in the middle, no gauge. So it's left tank and right tank. It's not quite reading right. Well, in saying that, one of the tanks I just had a look, it's 3/4 full. Yeah, it's only just coming up over. But anyway, it lets you know whether you got fuel or not. So it's pretty cool. It, yeah, it was weird, that switch. But it's what the wire diagram says. But I couldn't see the numbers on the wiring for that. It just, yeah, must be further down the loom somewhere. So we're getting there. Something I haven't actually tried, because, yeah, I will when I go somewhere next, obviously. These switches down here, cruise control. I've never actually diagnosed whether that, if I turn that on, oh yeah, the green light goes on the dash. So it's got power to it. It's a cruise control switch. So yeah, see if it works. Not right if it doesn't. I'm not a great fan of that anyway, especially with high, long legs like this truck's got. It'll be pretty hard on it. Be right empty, but you'd never use it loaded probably, not on our roads. Anyway, I'll leave that up to another day. Next job, go, you've seen the fuel gauge, sorted that, so I went to town and talked to the window man. Awesome people, but yeah, he's like, oh, I need to come and finish that, don't I? It's like, you know, I've got something I want to do with the truck, so I need to finish the windows. So I had to talk to him about how we're going to seal it, and he goes, well, you're going to do more than what I'm going to do anyway. So I grabbed the sealant off him. This is what they use, and I see it's made in focus. Don't want to do that. Made in France. And he was explaining to me, somebody watching this video will know more than I do, which isn't easy. It's easy to do, sorry. Yeah, he said don't put silicone anywhere near something you want to seal because no other product will ever go on it again, blah blah blah. So this is what they use. I read the instructions on here. Sealant for structures, industrial applications, high strength, blah blah blah, with a it's free of solvents, ISO something or other, and silicone. So it doesn't have silicone in it. So I'm going to pop the white frame up there, and we're going to get my old gun, and I'm going to pop that and seal between the glass joint so it can't touch itself. I mask the glass, so when I put that on, everything squeezes out and it's on the tape. So I'll get the outside done, get that frame back on, and then I'll make a decision whether the inside gets done or whether I blow off the window rubber here. And I'm going to seal it all the way around, blow all the dust out, and just run a little bead in there. It's going to be a bit tricky up top here. Up under here, I'll cut the nozzle and I'll try and, can't even get my finger in there. I'll have to though, because this is where it's moving. I've had issues with the window rubber just moving on the driver's side here. He said that stuff will stop it doing it. We've got to try and seal it up good. I don't want water in this cab again. Unfortunately, as I talked about, if you've been following me from day one, I've had issues when I put these back on. My inner steel frame, position wise, isn't touching where it should do on the rubber. It's not a tight fit in there. It's just an engineering issue of what we did when we remade this frame. You probably could have put the glass in, tried it, taken the glass out, and then beat the frame to bring it out and all that type of thing, but I just didn't do it. I mean, you guys in the US, you can go down the road and find these, but we can't. We're going to struggle for a corner window if we need one. So like the rubber's sticking out here, that type of thing. It's just the way it's all mounted, so I go around, I'll fill all that and just run a little bead on there. Easier said than done. Alright, I'm not going to leave the camera running while I do this. I'll just run a bead and I might show you what it looks like, and I'll try and put this outer piece back on. Right, unfortunately I didn't show what I did between the glass, but we took that off, just run a bead between the glass joint in there, and then we've put that back on. So here's my outside. This is how I'm doing it. Run a bead down there. There's quite a gap in there. So I've run the bead, and then my next little trick will be to run my finger down there and smooth it the best I can. I might try and do this one-handed. I don't know. Try and catch it. It's the same old story. I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't think NASA will be calling me to seal the windows up in the space station. There's people out there who do this for a living, and they'll be screaming at their device if they're watching it. Like everything else I've done on this truck, just learn by doing it. Alright, so I'll do that. Something the main thing is, do not touch the rest of the truck when you've got that stuff all over your gloves or hands, because it doesn't come off. Just tidy that bit up down here. Alright, this is the nervous part. I'll see if I can grab it on tape. I don't know if that's sealed against the window. Oh, I've got it all over the window now. Awesome. Got a bit of an edge on it. Really too much of an edge, I think, just about. Need to learn a bit more about this. Main thing is to hold the tape and don't let it touch anything. Get it away from the truck. Ugh, what a mess. Put that down there. I can't remember what they said to clean up with now. I'll get it off before it. I've got a bit of an edge on that glass there, but I think it's sealed up against it. I might have to go around the other side and look in. We'll look out, sorry, just tell. Ugh, terrible stuff. I think I've actually got grease on the window now. I think the rag's clean I'm using. Typical. Grab one which was no good. Try not to go near that ceiling. It's out there, it doesn't belong on there. Yeah, hard to tell. I think it's in there alright. If we get enough of it on there, we'll eventually get it from either side, because I'm going to seal on the inside yet too, fill that cavity. Right, so there's my initial gap. When I tape it, I'll do the same this side, run the bead down and pull the tape off. Right, this won't be very good, just haven't got the light on. It's the next day. I've been right around the whole window. I'm just holding the camera up from the ground here, and I've sealed everywhere on the glass, on the outer perimeter. All that gone up, right around. And I went right up around the top, obviously, sealed the glass, and then also did the top of the rubber up there under the visor on the outside. Made a bit of a mess further along. I'll tidy that up. And then on the inside, I did the back of these inside the cab. They've all been done inside there. I didn't worry about filming that stuff. The light's not very good, and as I said before, you get all that black stuff on your hands and you don't want to touch anything. So we've got the windows obviously sealed up. I'm going to let it sit for a couple of days, just to let this stuff cure off. Doing a couple of other little jobs on it. We're just there is a bit of a truck event coming up locally here, fundraising for kids. So I'm going to try and get along to that if it's going to make it. The weather at the moment, it's slowly coming right. It's still a bit nippy around here. It's pretty early in the morning here. I'm in the shop and it's pretty cold outside. But I'll just show you something else I am going to attack. How much of this I show on the channel, I don't know. I could get told off for doing this yet. So I really need to bring the rest of the stuff in to show you. I just had a brainwave there, never thought of something. It looks standard. Australia, New Zealand, don't know where else, maybe Europe, I know where. But ABS, EBS plug. And you're saying, well, it's an old truck, why are you putting that on? Well, my trailer that you've seen in my previous videos, my maiden voyage and that runs an ABS cord for the brakes. So I've done a bit of research and what the legal requirements are for all that. I won't go into detail about that because I could be totally wrong, which I probably am. But the short of the answer is it needs to be plugged in. So I did a bit of research, talked to a couple of people, a brake coating person, and it's not a big drama to wire this plug onto the truck. It's pretty simple. I only really need a power feed to the trailer. It's nothing too technical. So they gave me a wiring diagram, and I also got one off the internet and been doing a lot of reading what you got to do. Just needs a warning light on the dash. I'll probably try and document it because it could be funny. Could turn it on and big puff of smoke inside the trailer. Anything can happen with what I do. So that's going to be my next little project, is make a bracket for that plug and put it on the truck, and we'll see if we can get some action out of it. It's not stopping me from doing anything. I can still use the truck and that, and legally I shouldn't be pulling the trailer without it plugged in, but I don't think we're all going to die. So, but I will get it done. because now they've got hydraulics or a wet kit on this unit, and it does work the trailer, so I'll make it all correct, so if it goes somewhere it's all legal beagle. So I'll document slowly as I go along with that. Bit of an update. As you know, I got the sealant on the window. I just went into town and picked my oldest boy up. He's working during the school holidays. It's only a short run into town for me, and there was no wind noise, but yeah, we only got up to 80k, about not like that is a mile an hour. It's not very much, but yeah, I've got something else turned up in the mail this morning. My personalised plate. So I had a bit of a dilemma. My youngest said, "You should have filmed it, Dad." No, we didn't need to. So the other plate was fitted down here. These holes, well, this is a different dimensional plate. It wouldn't pick the holes up, and it's deeper, so it was going to hang down below the bumper, which wouldn't really work for me. So I thought about all that and went to our local hardware store and bought a stainless hinge and a little strip of aluminium, put in the back to pack it for the thickness of the hinge. And then if I can do it, yep, comes up. Towing eyes under there. So the one I've made should go in there alright. Not sure, it may not lift up, may have to alter those screws a bit. Technical problem there. Heading on there. That's right, we'll overcome that. But and I'll put some little magnets on the back side of the plate, so it sticks to the bumper. So yeah, that was pretty good. I tightened the belts, been through and done all that. Had a water leak on the heater valve up there in the engine, so I attacked that, and that's why I want to run it. So I went to town, as I say, and picked my boy up, and he's got an activity on tonight, probably, I don't know, 15 kilometers sort of thing, one way, 30k round trip. So I'm going to run him up to that in this. There's my back plate, and I've got to start running it and find the problems, see what it's going to do, and just run light, obviously, bounce up there and bounce back. It's a true meaning to this truck, lots of bounce. Didn't like our rough roads. It's okay if you don't go fast, don't pedal it too much, and it's quite enjoyable to drive. No, too bad outside in the sunlight, needs a wash. Well, my main thing is those windows. I just want to run it light, bounce it, shake it, and see what the window rubbers are going to do. Make sure they're all going to stay in place, nothing's going to move. As I say, there was no wind noise, but yeah, we weren't at warp speed, so we'll find that out where we're going. It's a straight bit of road, it's sort of not much around. Right, I just thought I'd give you that little update, and I'll let you know what I do next. And there we have it, one ABS plate put on the truck, wiring there. I'll show you what I've done down here if I can. I'll be careful. I've taken the power off the positive of the battery there. It's fused, 30 amp and 10 amp I think. I've taken an earth off the master switch there. So if the master switch is turned on, yeah, the trailer's powered up. It should be taken off the ignition source, one of those positives there, but I didn't do that. I'm never going to leave the truck sitting around with it all powered up anyway, because with me either it's turned on or it's not going, and it's isolated. I never leave the power switch turned on, because I know there's live stuff in the cab too, in the dash, and I don't trust it, so it's always turned off. Obviously if it's on, it's going. I'll just try and hook my batteries up, sorry. So yeah, got the plug on. I've got a light in the dash to show if there's a fault. Won't hear anything because of the damn aeroplanes, but if I pull that and push it back in the trailer, you can hear it doing 3 clicks on the unit, so I assume it's setting itself. I honestly don't know. It's hard to know if it's powered up. I'll show you a little bit on the trailer why. just go for a walk. The windows were a success with my sealant. Haven't moved so far. So this trailer's got a test port. I've got it widened out at the moment down on there that you can plug in. Obviously I don't have none of that technology, but the unit itself is somewhere back up here in the middle. I can hear it clicking in there. No, I aren't undoing any of that because I don't know if there's lights on the unit. I have yet to figure that out, what's going on. Oh, we'll soon find out. I'm going to back the truck up and just muck around, drag the trailer with the brakes and see what it does. So there's one side widened out on the trailer, gives you room. Obviously the other side's still in. It'll go out a lot further than that yet too. Oh yeah, because the trailer's due for a inspection or a certificate. So I was going to try and take it in on this truck, and if I have any brake issues in there, it could be something to do with valving on the truck, so it's the time to find out. This is the one that's going to be hooked up to for a while. It's my play truck. I'd rather know than go down the road and not be safe and have something go wrong. At least when we're on the brake machine we can see what it's doing. I'm not worried if it's a so-called fail. I'll just sort that issue out. But yeah, so that's a 7-pin plug and I'm using 5 of the wires in there. The rest is that other fancy, more high-tech system. I have read a fair bit about it. Obviously this truck doesn't have none of that technology. It's more a European, I think, technology, CAN system or whatever it is. I don't know. So anyway, I'm going to fire it up and I'll suck the trailer back in and have a bit of a play. Just walking around in circles here, picking rubbish up. So I'll be pleased if it does work. I just wish I could confirm it somehow. If there's confirmation, if there's lights on the system, but I just can't get inside that trailer. Anyway, I'll do a bit more reading and yeah, learn a bit more about it. Would put that down as a success. Bit of soft dirt just there, and you can hear the brakes trying to compensate for the soft ground and slipping. So yeah, wouldn't do that before. I tried it obviously with no ABS hooked up, and it was just locked one wheel up. But now it's yeah, doing an even braking, so pretty positive. I'll try it on a bit harder ground and just see what it does. sure if you got that or not in the shot. So I unhooked the ABS plug, did a run, you saw that, it just all locked up. And then the second one I did, you can see it on and off the brakes, which is traction, what I expect to do. So yeah, shows that it's working. I hope it showed up on the video. I'll leave it at that. Carry on with a few other little things on the list to do with the truck. A teaser for the next upload. Whether I document this or not, I don't know. So I've been having issues when I unhook this trailer. Big difference in turntable height, fifth wheel height between the Pete and the freight shaker because of due to the different types of fifth wheels. So I've been overcoming it by putting blocks on the ground here, and I just run the wheels of the truck up on that, which gets it up, and I can grab the neck of this trailer. Because my problem is I don't have landing legs that wind on this trailer. These are pretty heavy duty legs. You can unhook loaded as long as you're on good ground. But pinholes. So somewhere in there, I'm going to mark all that hole, and then my forklift, I'm going to lift this trailer, and I'm pretty sure the next one's just here somewhere. I'll see how close it is, because I realise it'll tear the hole out if you ever unhook with something heavy on there. But if I do unhook with a weight, I always do this. I put some big blocks under the neck, because I've had times where I've unhooked and come back and it is on the ground. Just push the legs through whatever I've unhooked on. Not that I tend to unhook loaded, but I have done it, so I wanted to run home with the truck and leave the trailer somewhere close and not unload. That's my next little exercise I'm going to do. So with that, I'm going to bring an end to this video. There's a few bits and pieces on the GoPro. I'll just do a bit of editing and chuck something together for you. I'm still out there, haven't given up. You saw what I did with the brakes. Really happy with the outcome on that. It's pretty positive, but we will know when it goes on the brake machine. It's due for certificate, as I say, that trailer, so I'm going to run it in the next couple of days and do that. I was actually in there for another reason. I asked them if I could video, and they said they'd prefer if I didn't, so fair enough, I respect their wish and I won't do that. So as I film this, I think it's a Wednesday, and coming up on a Saturday there's a local truck event in a small town not far from here, and it's fundraising for Ronald McDonald House. So subject to weather, I'm going to try and go to that and run the kids around in that. Should be an enjoyable day out and give us a chance to run the truck a bit more and see what else is going to fall off it, and spring leaks and all sorts of weird and wonderful things. So with that, I'll bring the video to an end, and stay tuned. Appreciate you following me.